What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Falcon and Winter Soldier impression of the series. Oh my God. I mean, look, I'm excited. I got to see the series from beginning to end, and I love it. I fucking love it. I'm not alone with this because I have old school gaming specialist Uncle Willie with me, and we have a lot to talk about, guys. Willie, first of all, let's get down to it. What's up? Like, what can I tell you, dude? Like, I'm ecstatic. I'm happy. I got to see everything in this freaking. Oh, first of all, guys, just before I get even started, there's gonna be a big spoiler section. So if you guys have not seen the episode yet or have not seen the series, I highly suggest to wait it out, watch the series, and come back to us and see if our impression matches yours, or even a little more, or maybe less. But please do yourself a favor. After this point, it's spoiler heaven. So, guys,
yes,
here we go. We're gonna start at 3, 2, 1. Oh my God, Willie! Finally, I'm excited at the fact that we get to see Falcon being Captain America and everything that takes place during this whole thing. I'm gonna tell you, it's a whirlwind. I'm glad that I didn't really do a lot of like spectating and thought, oh man, what happened if Steve Rogers comes back? Which I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of people thought it was gonna happen with the sixth trailer, not even the sixth trailer, the season 6 trailer about it. They thought that Steve Rogers, episode 6, sorry, episode 6 trailer, thinking that Steve Rogers was gonna come back and do some fighting and a bunch of other things. But I'm glad that I have my expectations very low, but it still succeeded to a point where I'm happy with how this series came out. Willie, please, let's talk.
He couldn't come back from. He couldn't come back to fight. Everyone knows he's in a secret base on the moon.
Everybody says that. I mean, we first get that from the beginning of the series when I still want to say that he's going to be the Falcon, and he starts talking to this guy.
Joaquin
he starts.
Torres. You're talking about Joaquin.
Joaquin Torres is talking to Falcon pretty much and telling him, hey, I thought, Steve Rogers is in the moon and all that stuff. And I just started giggling because like all these rumors about Captain America being in the moon and doing moon stuff, right?
Yeah, because, sorry.
It's okay.
Because, you can't go on the moon and do sun stuff.
But look, man, I have to say this, and I'm just glad how the movie. I'm still calling it a movie. I like how this series started and how it ended. Now I know that we have certain things that we want to bring up, Willie, and let's bring it down by points from the beginning to the end. Let's talk and
okay.
Let's get down to it. First of all, let's get down from the beginning to the end. Go.
We'll start with the characters, the main characters. Yes. We have Sam Wilson.
Yes.
Played by Anthony Mackie. He is the Falcon. After Endgame, he was given the Cap shield by Cap, basically saying that he was going to be the next Captain America.
Indeed.
But he starts off this series debating on whether or not he's good enough to be Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about replacing the one that was a very good friend of his, just being Captain America.
Which is that's a big thing to handle. I'm not gonna lie.
It's a big thing to handle for anybody. And more a person who's not blonde with blue eyes, as was said in the series.
Mm-hmm.
He decides eventually that the shield and the mantle is too big for him.
Yes.
So he gives it up and gives it to the government to put on display. But because the government is the government, they decided, no. We need to have a Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
And they plucked John Walker, played very well by Wyatt Russell, as what they consider to be the next Captain America. Decorated war hero, 3 times Medal of Honor winner.
Also blonde and blue.
Soldier. Also blonde and blue. And of course, he has to have a sidekick. And his sidekick, of course, is black. Because you have to.
Yeah.
And this is Lamar, played by Clay Bennett. Well, we know him as Lamar, but his code name was Battlestar. Lamar Hoskins, I should say, his full name.
Yeah.
So that John Walker becomes the new Captain America, and Lamar becomes essentially his Bucky.
Yeah,
The
but
actual Bucky,
I'm not gonna lie. I always hated like personally their buddy relation in this series. It agitated me, dude. It irritated me to a point where I'm like, oh god, stop being so freaking. I don't know.
there.
Yeah, please go.
Let me get there. Okay. So the real Bucky, Bucky Barnes, played by Sebastian Stan, is irritated at Sam because how could he give up the shield? Cap gave you the shield. You had a responsibility, and you're ducking it. So him and Sam have what many times is a very contentious relationship, mainly because Bucky won't leave Sam alone. You shouldn't have given up the shield.
Yeah.
Which he starts to realize when he sees that John Walker is way out of his depth. And John Walker is way out of his depth because he's trying to deal with a new terrorist organization that comes up called the Flag Smashers.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be this group that formed after the blip. Well, no, they didn't form after the blip. They formed after everyone came back from the blip.
Yeah.
Because when the blip occurred, supposedly the world became borderless. What's the point of being a whole group of countries when we're all, a collection of people who've all had loved ones taken away from us? We've had so much sorrow and so much loss. Let's fuck this whole country bullshit. Let's just be a world.
Yeah.
And then when people came back, everyone was like, hey, how about the way it was before?
Hey, how come you're in my house? You need to get the hell out.
And a lot of people who had formed new lives after the blip suddenly were refugees.
Yeah.
The Flag Smashers came from there. And their leader, nice gender bend, Carly Morgenthau, played by Aaron Kellerman. In the comic books, it was Carl, is the leader of the Flag Smashers. And it seems that she's pretty strong.
Just a tad, right?
Right.
Just a little.
Her and a few of her teammates, I'm going to say, because she leads them. But yeah, it's going to be a little strong. That's because they found a way to get their hands on Super Soldier Serum. Super Soldier Serum that they took from an entity called what was his name? The Power Broker. I'm sorry. Jesus, I blanked out there for a second. The Power Broker. A mysterious figure known as the Power Broker. Well, Sam and Bucky got pulled into this, and now they got to try to find a way to stop the Flag Smashers, and they need to find out who's going around making super soldiers. And that there was a lot of cool cameos here. And one of them was the introduction. It wasn't even a cameo. It was just, a character. Isaiah Bradley. Isaiah Bradley, played by Carl Lumley. For those of you who don't know your comics, Isaiah Bradley was the first Captain America.
Yeah.
A black man who they experimented on. Well, not really the first Captain America.
He was the first African American.
He was the first Captain America after Steve Rogers.
Yes.
Because they were trying to recreate the Super Soldier Serum, and they couldn't. And it was, a lot of experiments that they did on black people that yielded a lot of failures. But Isaiah Bradley was the only success.
Yeah.
So they conscripted him as their Captain America, but it's more of a clandestine Captain America during the Korean War, during which he had an encounter with Bucky, who was at that time the Winter Soldier. Well, Bucky goes back to visit him to try to find out more information, and Isaiah wasn't very happy about it.
Nah, I wouldn't be either, to be honest.
Because they did him dirty in the comic books. They tell you about how they tried to hush him up by putting him in jail. They did the same thing here. So Bucky gets the brilliant idea of, he said that Hydra was involved in this too. I guess we got to go talk to somebody who knows about Hydra. And they go to Baron Helmut Zemo.
Still by far the best character.
Who's actually an actual Baron, played by Daniel Bruhl. You know what? I'm not even gonna say they had one or two. They had a lot of really good performances.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing that I want to say as we talk about here. I loved how Wyatt Russell played John Walker. Yes, I wanted to be irritated by him, but I felt bad for him. Like
Yeah, there's a level of sympathy you feel for the guy. Like, I'm not gonna lie,
for the man because he's trying his damn best.
it's sad. It's really sad.
It's a soldier who knows he has to do what a soldier has to do, but now he's been thrust on this huge mantle. All right, you be Captain America now, and do it right. There's no training program for Captain America
At all, dude. At all.
but he has to become that now, and I'm very sympathetic to him. And Lamar, the whole time sitting there trying to be his, his not just his moral his moral conscience, but like his cheerleading squad.
Yeah.
You got this. You always make the right decision. You know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Bucky goes to break out Zemo, another fabulous performance, and of course John and Lamar find out about this, and that starts problems.
Oh yeah, big ones.
But they're trying to get Zemo to get them information on how the super soldiers came to be, and that leads them to Madripoor. And this was the geek moment that everyone had because Madripoor, everyone lost their minds. The episode that Isaiah Bradley was shown, and they talked about his history and how messed up everything was.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't care about the powerful social and racial message there. No, they saw something that said Madripoor. They lost their minds.
Yeah, that's it. That's what gave it away.
suddenly here we are. We're in Madripoor. And every X-Men fan knows, oh, Madripoor? Where's Wolverine? Well, they had a scene in the Princess Bar, which is where Wolverine used to hang out when he used to be known as Patch. And there they get into a mess with some, some mobster. I even forgot the mobster's name. I don't even care because the person that comes out of that one is Sharon Carter, played by Emily Van Camp. I will say, out of all the characters in the show, I liked hers the least.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, the entire time she was slimy as shit.
Bruh. Slimy is.
And I knew there was something. I knew something had to be up with her. But we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
But we get Sharon back in, and we see her, and Zemo's trying to find more information about who's making the super soldiers, and they come across the name the Power Broker. And hunting for the Power Broker, they come across the chemist that makes all the super soldier serum, who Zemo goes and kills because he hates superheroes.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, by the way, Zemo's escaped. You got to figure sooner or later, someone's going to come looking for him. And who came looking for him?
Wakanda.
The Dora Milaje.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they fucked some shit up.
Oh, they were just badasses. They were just some badasses.
Yes. Bottom line, this all leads to a thing where John Walker, trying so hard to be Captain America and trying to be, a good Captain America, comes across a vital super soldier serum and takes it, loses shit, kills somebody in public, and gets stripped.
And that was so degrading to see because you're watching him like, no, man, I'm the Captain America. I am Captain America. He was like,
oh yeah,
like he was just fighting, and they're like, yeah, you used to be, and we're gonna take all your, your benefits away and everything. So you're not gonna get shit from us, and you're technically fucked. In other words,
you're lucky you're not in jail.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they went on to. I was like, wow.
The thing that made me sympathize with him the most was the fact that he was trying his damnedest.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what he did, he got his ass handed to him.
Oh my god!
In the hotel room when the Dora Milaje came for him, they absolutely schooled him. He was being a douche.
Yeah, hi, I'm Captain America. Hey, what are you doing?
Trying to
And
put
they
his
just looked
hand,
at him like,
trying to put his hand on Ayo like that, like, oh no, let's just be friends. She fucked him up to the point where he sat there afterwards. They weren't even super soldiers. They were fucking Dora Milaje, buddy.
I laughed. That was hilarious to me. I laughed.
But like, he was totally emasculated to the point where he was getting his ass kicked by super soldiers, and he was getting his ass kicked by people who weren't super soldiers.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
That led him to take the serum, and that led him to go and kill that man. And then Bucky and Sam trying to take the shield from him. That was the best fight scene.
Oh my god. I'm telling you right now, that right there, it was just off the bat. The beginning of that episode, it was just them. They were just looking at them and you're like, yo, we're gonna take that shield away from you. And then he was like pretty much like, no, you ain't gonna take shit away. And Bucky's like, yeah, we're gonna take it away from you.
No, the way he said it, yeah. The way he said it. John Walker's like, you don't want to do this. And Bucky's like, yeah, we do. And then they just went and started beating the shit out of each other.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Sam in his head was like, the fuck you getting me into?
Culminating in John Walker ripping Sam's Falcon wings.
Oh, God.
Sam and Bucky teaming up to take the shield away from him, breaking his arm in the process.
Dude.
And the greatest superhero wrestling move in all of history, where Bucky grabs John Walker by his legs and swings him into Sam, who's flying towards them with Cap's shield.
Just simple. Just I like it.
That's, I mean, the 4-year-old boy in me was giggling.
Also make you. It kind of made me feel like you're playing the arcade game and you're using an assist. I was like, oh yes, hit him.
But this whole story had to come to, eventually had to come to a climax. This whole time, the Flag Smashers are trying to wreck shit. There's a group called the GRC, the Global Repatriation Council, which is basically like a UN type of thing that's focused on how they're going to try to get people settled after everyone came back from the blip.
Mm-hmm.
And they're a bunch of assholes. And their whole thing is, send the refugees back where they came from.
Oh, my God.
Which is the whole reason why the Flag Smashers are pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's like, one moment, everyone's loving us because we're all one people. And the next minute, everybody comes back. Oh, yeah, go back to your place.
Mm-hmm.
So that eventually that was going to get to a point where that was going to blow up. And it did in the final episode where everything came together.
Full circle,
Falcon,
technically.
Sam doesn't have the Falcon suit anymore because the wings were ripped off. He gave it to Joaquin, who's fixing them. And I feel he's going to become the next Falcon.
Yeah, he is. Definitely.
But when Zemo escaped in the hotel, he ended up going back to Sokovia to the memorial for the people who died in Sokovia. And Bucky knew he was going to be there and went there, pretending like he was going to kill him. But didn't, and then stick the Dora Milaje on him.
Yeah.
So now Baron Zemo is arrested and getting sent to the raft. Keep that in mind, folks.
I was going to tell you right now. Yeah.
In the meantime, and they told Bucky, you know what? You helped us get him, but you let him go. Don't show your ass in Wakanda for a little bit. All right, fine. But then he goes, hey, but I need a favor, though. What was that favor? Well, he hands Sam a suitcase. Not the Pulp Fiction suitcase.
No.
Bigger, nicer suitcase.
Very pretty.
We knew what it was going to be. We knew what it was going to be.
But we didn't know what it was going to look like, though.
Before the final episode, I knew exactly what it was going to look like. Because
I had expectations very low again.
The comic books. And we saw it in the finale. Again, everything had to come to a climax, and here we go. Carly is going to hijack a meeting for the GRC where they're going to vote to send everybody back where they came from.
Mm-hmm.
She goes to kidnap them, supposedly to negotiate. She wants to kill them. Who swoops in to save the day? Sam, in his new Captain America outfit made by Wakanda.
Beautiful.
Oh, it's nice. It's
It
nice,
is.
but I don't like the neck piece. I don't like the whole neck. I
You know
never liked
what?
it in the comics, and I don't like it here.
In the comics, I will have to admit, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool because in the comics. But now in live action, I find it very weird. You know, exposing the top part of your head and all that. I'm like, you know what? That could be changed. I'd rather have him with the same headpiece, like when he has his old suit, and it's just technically the goggles, and let the suit be itself. That's
But
at
you know
least
what?
my opinion.
He has on the combat fatigues. He has the boots,
Hmm.
and you know the upper body looks nice. I will say the uniform looks nice,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's him and Bucky have to try to stop Carly, and oh yeah, Sharon Carter shows up
yeah.
somehow,
Nobody
and
knows how though. Nobody.
nobody, no one even questions how. She just showed up. Okay, she's here. She's gonna help us. Okay, and the whole plot starts. The Flag Smashers get the members of the GRC into some armored trucks that they plan to they kidnap them in. Shit starts going sideways because Sam and Bucky and Sharon are causing some shit.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention that Batroc makes an appearance.
Oh yeah.
Batroc, for those who don't know, was the French guy that Cap fought at the beginning of Winter Soldier in the boat.
Yep.
He's Batroc, the Leaper in the comic books. Here he's just George Batroc. Fine, but it turns out he was being played by Sharon,
Hmm.
who turns out it's unveiled, but I saw it coming, that she's the power broker.
It was an interesting twist.
That wasn't. I mean, I saw it coming. I get it, but like I said, she was the weakest character of them all, in my opinion.
Hmm.
But whatever. Caps, yeah, it's Falcon's got his cap suit, Sam got his cap suit, and of course they win with the help of John Walker,
Hmm.
who kind of like, all right, dude, all right, I get it. You have good intentions. You don't pull out an Abraham Lincoln quote, which
Oh, God.
pissed off Bucky. Bucky's like, Lincoln, really? And John's like, it's a good quote. And Bucky being Bucky, not when it's coming from you.
Right, man.
But yeah,
this is great.
and then Sam saves the day. Doesn't get to, he stops Carly, but Carly ends up getting killed by Sharon. And he comes in with her body because that was one good scene. The final fight scene between Carly and Sam
Mhm.
was good because she kept wanting him to fight her. He refused to fight her, which pissed her off even more.
Yeah, I
Basically,
kind of felt that.
basically him showing her how much of a monster she is.
Yeah.
Which she didn't give a shit. She was ready to shoot him until Sharon killed her.
Man.
But even through all that, Sam had compassion with her and was holding her. And he flew in with her body and gave her up and all that bunch of stuff. She might not be dead.
I mean,
You know how these things are.
yeah, it is. That is true.
You saw Sharon shoot Batroc because Batroc was threatening to expose her secret.
Mm-hmm.
He might not be dead.
I mean, there is some truth into that, Willie, which I'm going to bring up right now. Even though when they got the bodies and they started taking them, to the morgue or whatever the case is, a lot of the Flag Smashers were still undercover, and you never know what.
That was the thing with the Flag Smashers. It wasn't just the dudes that were punching people with the black masks on that had the hand on it.
Mhm.
They were basically infiltrating everything.
Everything. And
One
I
of the-
felt, and
one
I
of the-
felt like that was pretty fucking interesting to see something like that. So now you have to worry about Hydra. You have to worry about the Flag Smashers. So now you're like, shit, they're gonna keep me on edge now because now you're like wondering who's in what and where now.
And you have to worry about one more group.
Mm-hmm.
Because at one point, after John Walker was stripped of his rank and his record and his pension,
Yeah.
he was met outside the chamber by a figure played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus,
Mm-hmm.
completely out of nowhere. I'm not gonna say her name, Contessa Isabella, blah 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 blah, but you can call me Val.
Yeah.
Who in the comic books for a while was Nick Fury's main squeeze, but later on became Madam Hydra.
Yes.
And it looks like she's working with the government.
And she's a fast talker, dude.
Not just a fast talker, but she's absolutely confident in what she's doing.
Very. And she's good to fuck with your mind. Really well
done. And
she
offers John Walker an out, which we see at the end of the final episode, where he's no longer Captain America. He no longer has a Captain America outfit, but he has on a black version of it.
Yep.
Which is his U.S. agent getup.
And they pretty much said it all right there, and I was like, wow, man, this is fucking great.
She straight up said it. There's gonna come a time where we don't need a Captain America, but we will need a U.S. agent.
Amazing.
And not just that. And also in the end, we see that some flag smashers that were captured were put into an armored truck to send them to prison.
Yep.
Suddenly that thing blows up.
Oh my god! I was like, oh, fuck, what happened here?
It was blown up by Zemo's butler.
Gangster.
And Val hinted that she knew about it. She knew that was going to happen.
She knew that was going to happen. You're right.
Now, why is that important? Well, like I said, Baron Zemo, I want to keep calling him Baron Zemo because he did out himself as a Baron, is in the raft. Now, for those of you who know the comic books, there is a group of superpowered individuals that actually operates out of the raft. Yes, I am talking about the Thunderbolts. And because it's pretty much obvious that they're setting it up now, what do you say we talk about all the people in the MCU who are almost definitely going to be members?
Please go ahead.
The Thunderbolts in the comics were a superhero-like group that tried to fill in the role of the Avengers when the Avengers were disassembled after the House of M. But it was run by Baron Zemo. And yes, Thunderbolt Ross had his say in there because, I mean, again, the Thunderbolts. And Thunderbolt Ross in the MCU does oversee the raft. So you got to figure that he has something to do with it, and Val is his go-between.
Yeah.
Now, if they're gonna do a Thunderbolts, who would be in it? Well, we know Zemo already.
Of course.
And we know U.S. Agent.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Black Widow hasn't come out yet, but it's been hinted that there was some sharing between Falcon and Winter Soldier and Black Widow, especially with one scene that was supposed to happen. Well, that was supposed to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier when Black Widow was scheduled to come out first.
Yeah.
But they're saying that since Falcon and Winter Soldier came out first, it's going to show up now in Black Widow. And Black Widow, Natasha meets up with her old family, including her, in this case, her sister, Yelena Belova, who in the comic books becomes the second Black Widow, but she was also a member of the Thunderbolts. So she's on there. I say she's on there.
Okay.
Another person. Remember Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Of course.
Remember the Enemy?
Not Yellow Jacket.
No. Ghost.
Yes.
The woman who was having problems because she was phasing out of existence.
Yes.
They sort of kind of cured her a little bit, but then they disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She was a member of the Thunderbolts. Oh, by the way, so was Bucky. And so was Hawkeye.
I don't think those two, though.
I think so. Bucky kind of like, he doesn't like John Walker, but he sees the good in him. So he may be convinced he's a guy who wants to do good. I can see him getting his mind twisted, thinking that he's doing something good.
Okay.
And Hawkeye, after his whole Ronin turn, he can't be an Avenger no more. Not in the normal sense. Now, in his show, He's supposed to have a show coming out where he trains Kate Bishop, who's essentially his replacement. Why not? And then you can go and say, okay, well, Thunderbolt Ross is a member of is supposedly fronting this, but isn't Thunderbolt Ross the Red Hulk? Well, yes, he is.
Indeed.
And you're absolutely right. He was also a Thunderbolt. Then we get into speculation. Then we get into who else can we throw there? Maybe we can throw Taskmaster in there. Why not?
Possibility, yeah.
But now we start thinking about, wait a minute. Doesn't Marvel have the rights to the old Netflix shows again?
It is true. I think they do. Yes.
Well, Luke Cage was a Thunderbolt. So was Elektra. And so was your boy.
Punisher.
The Punisher was also a Thunderbolt. Of course he was a Thunderbolt.
God damn right he is.
They have the rights to the Fox stuff now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Deadpool's absolutely a Thunderbolt. So was the Juggernaut. This is where your mind starts racing and going in 15 different directions.
Technically.
Now, is it just the Thunderbolts or is it also the Dark Avengers? Because there was some crossover. U.S. Agent was a Thunderbolt, but he spent some time as a Dark Avenger as well. And then you start thinking about, Venom was a Thunderbolt and a Dark Avenger, and so was Wolverine.
Yeah.
But you know what? I mean, they're setting up one of those two teams. They might just call them the Dark Avengers because, to replace the Avengers.
Yeah.
But then that brings up the thing, are they going to keep with the comic books? Because in the comic books, Dark Avengers was actually started by Norman Osborn. Which means Spider-Man, which means you just went cross-eyed.
Yeah, I'm already full blown there right now.
But overall, I mean, the most satisfying thing was Sam Wilson finally taking the mantle as Captain America.
Yeah.
And doing right by Isaiah Bradley.
Indeed.
Who had been hiding because he was basically an unperson.
Yeah,
and there were little hooks there.
And I'm going to tell you right now, that speech that he gave in the end, that was deep as shit.
That was a strong message, yeah, but, that was coming. And,
it was.
That was basically their way of having Sam show the world, you know what? I ain't just a black man with a white man's shield here. I got ideas too. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. And I think for today's situations and things that are going on, it's a pretty strong message, and I'm okay with it. It's how can I say this in simpler terms that not everybody's gonna be blonde and blue. Everybody comes in a different shade, and anybody can be technically a hero too. I mean, in all respect,
not just a hero.
Yeah,
anybody can be a villain. That was something that he said in his speech too. When he was talking to the GRC folks that were still talking about repatriating the refugees because they're terrorists, he's like, y'all have a lot of power in your hands. You have as much, but you see that a bunch of people were trying to kill you. You never stop to think about why they were trying to kill you? And the part that really scored points was like, you all have as much power as a tyrannical god and a misguided teenager.
Yeah, very strong.
Very, very, very poignant.
Very.
So bottom line, Sam is now Captain America. The show ended with a new title card, Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Bucky, who, I gotta say another thing, they all got a lot of development. Sam, Bucky, John, even Zemo got some development.
I enjoyed.
You got to see where Zemo's coming from because Zemo's a badass.
Yes.
You got to see where they all came from, and Bucky got some closure. He got to exercise the ghosts that he had as a Winter Soldier. Sharon got her pardon because she wanted to come back into the U.S. She was hiding out in Madripoor because after everything that happened in Civil War, she was a fugitive.
Mhm.
and she had to leave the country, and she started her own shit in Madripoor. You know what? Fine, cool.
Yeah.
But she got pardoned and put back in government service. And since she's a power broker, now she's going to go and sell government secrets.
It's crazy.
It is.
It is.
But overall, I liked it. What do you think? What did you think overall?
All right. So overall, I thought it was spectacular. You know, for somebody that doesn't really follow the storyline, the comics, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think this is a great step for anybody that loves the MCU to watch. For those that don't like it, like they don't like comic books, but they love movies like this, it's a good intro to things like this. You get to follow the story arc. You're like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. I remember this from this movie. I mean, you don't have to be a total pro to love comic books, but in this, in like these type of stories, little things like this, I think it's easy to follow. Plus, you get a little more into the movies where you're like, okay, this happened in this movie. You know what? I want to rewatch this movie and follow a little more so I can get a better understanding. And just like you said it, the overall character development, it's perfect. It's phenomenal. I love the way that we start off with Bucky in a dark place, and during the whole time of the episodes, you see him kind of like coming out of his shell little by little and kind of becoming good friends with Falcon, Sam, where Sam even gave him some pointers on how to fight his own demons, because of course, if you guys remember in Captain America, Sam was a very, he was a good person that he would talk to other veterans and stuff like that. They're having some dark times. And I think Sam, with his words of wisdom and things that he knows and how to handle situations, perfect. And I think, pretty much, I'm not even going to call him Falcon anymore, but Captain America and the Winter Soldier go hand in hand right now more than ever. And I think with the future ahead of us, I say that they're going to grow even closer, more bond. They're going to be like bestest friends, just like Bucky and Cap were in the beginning. Other character developments, like right now, how you pretty much said Zemo, are amazing. Because of course, when you saw Zemo in Captain America, you already knew what was his problem. The whole thing with his family dying, and he just wanted revenge. But you didn't really get a lot from him. It was just like he's kind of plain. But then when you look up his name, you're like, fuck, I thought you were supposed to be like witty, smart, very intelligent and stuff like that. But you get that in this series, where you get to learn that not only that he's witty and smart, but the fucker got some money. He has all this money and he could do things, and he has his own jet, and the fucker is super smart. He is very smart. And then just see him in this movie, and then you're kind of like, you're a bad guy, but you're helping the good guys out. And then you kind of feel like this kind of bond with him as well, to the point where you're like, I like Zemo. Don't worry. Yes, the dance scene, phenomenal. I love it still. But
Marvel released a 1-hour cut of Zemo dancing. All of you are contractually obligated to find that video because it is amazing.
It is great. And you have that and a bunch of the flag smashers, where in the beginning you're like, God, I don't like them. But then when they start breaking out their story arc and what's going on with them and why they're this way, you get compassion too. You're like, fuck, man, I feel bad for these people. Let's see if there's a way of maybe agreeing to disagree and maybe work together to not do what they're doing. But again, we already see how the end result in this movie, in the series, Eagle. So overall, to be honest, I thought this was an amazing series. If I were to give it a score from 1 through 10, I'll give it a solid 9. Why a 9? There's always that little 1% or that little one thing that kind of throws you off. And to me, it was like certain things in the episode, which was kind of like, why is this here? But then you're like, fuck it. You kind of see past it, but you're not going to forget it. But I'll give it a solid 9 out of 10. That's what I give it. It's really good. Really good. I enjoyed this series a lot. I can't wait for season 2, which there are heavy talks about it already.
I mean, there's a possibility. One thing two things that need to be mentioned. One is that this show, although it's a show made for TV streaming, it has all the production quality of a movie.
Indeed.
Like the special effects are spot on. There isn't too much that you can sit there and say, "Oh, I got a problem with that." I mean, you have to squint really hard to look for it.
That's where that 1% comes from. But please go ahead.
But still, this is like if for those of you who like going to see the MCU movies, this is like a movie broken into 6 parts.
Yeah.
Way more so than WandaVision, which I gotta say, WandaVision, the thing that I had the biggest problem with was that it looked like at one point they had to change the story around and they had to do some things, and it turns out it's true. There was there were whole chunks of things that they wanted to do that they didn't get to do because of the, as we say, the human malware getting in the way and stopping production at one point.
True.
Something I found out. This show had that problem too. Falcon and Winter Soldier had a whole pandemic focused bent to it with the refugees that was left out because of what's going on. But the first thing I want to point out is that the actual production value. It looks like a movie that just got broken up into 6 parts.
Yeah. And
the second thing is the whole thing that you're looking at for the first time in a while. You saw it a little bit in Winter Soldier and somewhat in Civil War as well. But you got to see that superheroing is not about good versus evil. It's a lot of gray in between.
Yeah.
And the problem with John Walker is that he just saw things in black and white. He didn't see nuance. He didn't see people, that, what? Yeah, they're doing bad things, but they have a good reason for doing it.
Yeah, you're right.
No, he just saw them as, you're bad because you're hurting America's interests. I got to take you in.
Yeah, he pretty much painted the whole, you're bad because, you're doing this and it's bad. But he doesn't really go into the detail of why you're doing bad, which that's why Sam, I enjoyed it because not only he's like, okay, you're bad, but I need to know why you're doing this. And that conversation with the Flag Smasher was phenomenal because then he finds out what's going on. He's like, oh shit, okay, I see what's going on.
Not just that.
And he agrees with them.
You touched on it when you were talking about it. He was a negotiator. He was not a proper therapist. But he did do like the work of therapists with soldiers in the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
And he had that trait on point here where he's trying to get people to listen, I get your point of view, but do you understand this? And the thing that I think bothered him the most was that he couldn't get through to Carly.
That was the worst.
He got to show Carly just how monstrous she was becoming.
But let's be honest. In that one episode, I think it was episode 3, he almost did until John Walker intervened. And she almost literally stopped. She was like, you know what? You're almost right. But then when John Walker jumps in, she said, fuck you. You're just like them. You were just trying to fuck me over. And he was like, no, that's not me. This fucking moron is messing it up. So, yeah. Yeah.
He did get her to open up to the point where he got her to admit that to her the movement was about more than just trying to have these people recognized. No, she wanted to get her revenge.
Yeah, she didn't care.
She didn't care who she killed along the way.
Yep.
And he got her to open up and say that, and she backed up and was like, "That's not what I was trying to say." And yeah, maybe if he had a little more time to talk to her, maybe he could have gotten through to her. But no. The plot says that John Walker has to fuck things up, and John Walker fucked things up. And he got his ass kicked.
Yeah.
And he got Lamar killed.
Yeah, stupidly, dude.
Say what you want. Yes, they Carly fucked him up. But John Walker got him there.
Yeah. You're absolutely right.
That's why I'm saying there was a lot of gray in here.
Very.
Every character, every single character single character had their good points and their bad points. Even Sam wasn't perfect
at all.
He doubted himself. That's the whole reason why all this got started.
Yeah. And like pretty much how you're bringing up Sam, also Bucky. We have Bucky that he can barely even sleep at night because he keeps remembering everything he's done that he killed people, but one specifically that keeps coming to his mind It's the Chinese guy that he was very good friends with, which he couldn't even bear tell him that he's the one that murdered the kid.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart, man, especially in this last episode that he went to his apartment late night to tell him the truth, to tell him, look, I know your son was murdered. The Winter Soldier murdered your son. I was the Winter Soldier. And, you know, you see him in his eyes like, why? Why would you do that? And he's like,
that was done a little sloppily, but it was very emotional.
It was, because my God.
They should have given more air, more time to breathe, because all you got to do is him say, I was the Winter Soldier, and the gentleman saying, why? I had no choice. What do you mean you had no choice? You didn't get to hear anything else.
Yeah.
And you didn't really see how that ended up. You have to figure that the old man doesn't want to see him anymore.
Because pretty much figured that part in the end. Yeah.
Later on, you see him walking to the bar where he met that young girl, and she's talking to the old man, and she sees Bucky and smiles, but you don't know how that ended. Yeah,
because you don't see him like kind of not even look at the window or nothing. Because if we would have got a good glimpse at it, let's say in a different view, if the old man would have just looked, you know, towards that to that window and see Bucky, and he does una mueca, some sort of face like, you know, hey, how you doing? Like kind of a closure, like hi.
Either say hi or just turn around mad. All right, you know how that ended.
Or something. Then you were like, you know, that was kind of fucked up. But then you see it in another way, which you see that Bucky, he completed his task. He already has his book. He checked off everything he had to do, gave it to the therapist, and thanked her for it.
Can I just say, the first episode, when he got those former agents, that he trapped them in their car and came up to them and said, hi, I used to be the Winter Soldier, and now I'm atoning for my crimes. That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
But yeah, man, I personally think this series was actually well made. I'm pretty happy with it. But Willie, again, what will you give this series? What will be your number?
I'm not really a fan of the numbers, because
if you would, I'm just saying, though.
It's a lot. There's a lot more to it than just throwing a number at it. So, you know, saying on a scale of 1 to 10 and then give me one definitive number, can't. It's a great show. All I can say is, people who love the MCU should have seen this already.
Indeed.
People who haven't gotten into it or only partially into it will still find a lot to enjoy here, even if you don't know about the stuff that happened in the MCU. These are self-contained stories, and they're very well done.
It is.
So that's how I would rate it. I wouldn't. I mean, throw a number at it. No, I can't do that. I mean,
you know
I got away from throwing numbers and stuff, because numbers are too easy to parse.
You know what?
Numbers are too simplistic, I should say.
I'm gonna have to tell you that I actually like that thought of yours. I like the fact that, you know, numbers will not justify the show itself, but just saying it itself that it's a great show and you have to watch it, it's enough, you know, at least for people to see it. I mean, I give it a number because I'm kind of used to the whole scale of numbers, but I like to be very fair. I don't like to be like IGN, that they gave it pretty much a 5? They're like, yeah, it's a 5, but, you know, their argument is like, wait, this is, why would you give it a 5? And then you look at their reasons and you're like, wait a minute, no, I don't really agree with you. But but then again, people will look at my number and be like, why are you giving it a 9? I'll give it this number because I found that this part was sucky or whatever the hell it is.
It's more to it than that. I remember when I was writing for the website, for the Digital Crack website, that I would do game reviews. And I would go and explain all these bunch of things that I liked and all these bunch of things that I didn't like. And then it came back to okay, I'm going to give it this number. People were like, "What? You said all these good things about it. Why is the number so low?" Or you said all these things you didn't like. Why is the number so high?
Yeah.
Everybody has an idea of where their numbers land in ranking. Like, how everybody goes and makes fun of IGN. That a game that's okay is an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's where I have my problem. I can tell you everything I liked and disliked about a show. And I feel that if I say, based on all that, I think it's something you'd like to watch. I think that goes a lot further than saying, 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
No. And your opinion matters, like just like everybody else's. Which that's what I was going to say right now. Guys out there, ladies, gentlemen, whatever. Please share your thoughts of the story. If you saw it, or if you saw briefly of it, or if you saw the whole thing, please comment down below. We would love to hear your thoughts. Have a conversation of your opinions of why you like or dislike this show. I just gotta say is if I would love to just hear your thoughts if you love the show or if you didn't, because I would like to see in your point of view what is it you liked or did not like about the show. But yeah, that's all I got, man. To be honest, that's all I have, and I can't wait for the Loki show that's gonna be coming up soon, and anything else that's coming up for Marvel and or even DC. Let's be honest, but I can't wait for whatever Marvel's gonna bring us this year.
I'd like to see what DC will bring to the table. Right now, I mean, we know they're going to make movies, but are they going to stick to their guns and saying that these are all going to be self-contained stories and they're not going to be part of a larger universe, or are they going to still try to hammer the universe into our heads?
Let's see. I mean, I have very strong doubts about that, but let's wait to see what happens. But in other words, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Again, like, comment, subscribe, and I can't wait to see Mortal Kombat, to see how that movie turns out as well.
Well, that's next. That's
next.
on the list.
That's next.
There's a lot of things. A lot of things popped today that are pretty big. I mean, Mortal Kombat is huge. Falcon and Winter Soldier ended, and the new Netflix series that I just found out about today that I have to watch, which is Shadow and Bone.
I've seen a lot of things about it. I need to check it out as well.
It's like its own Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
And so I have to check it out because nerd. Even though I didn't like Game of Thrones. Go figure.
Man, that's fine. But
I'm saying, and I'm going to sound like a hipster here. I didn't like Game of Thrones before season 8.
Okay.
Never got into it.
All right. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.